YouTube. So, a few days ago I was on Facebook Reels that I often am, and there was one of these videos that's basically a voice of a Ask Reddit post about what's one of those stereotypical American things that you didn't think was real until you saw it for yourself. And one of the answers was those yellow American school buses that you see in all the movies and on The Simpsons. And it got me thinking, yeah, why are American school buses like that, so distinctive? Because in the UK, our school buses are just ordinary, normal buses, like city buses, that get contracted out for schoolwork. Usually it's from coach companies or private hire companies, and they'll take basically ratty second-hand buses off of that used to belong to Stagecoach or whoever, and they'll put them out on school contracts because cheap ratty old buses that we don't mind being damaged by school kids. But America does things differently, and the history of the American school bus, and it goes back over 100 years ago. Why yellow? Why are the American school buses like this? So in 1939, rural education expert Frank W. Sear organised a week-long conference at Teachers College, Columbia University that introduced new standards for the design of school buses. Funded by a $5,000 grant, Dr. Sear invited transportation officials, representatives from body and chassis manufacturers and paint companies to reduce the complexity of school bus production and increase safety. A set of 44 standards were agreed upon and adopted by the conference. So they now have this agreed standard that school buses are going to be yellow, and there's going to be safety standards. So while many of the standards of the 1939 conference have been modified or updated, one part of its legacy remains a key part of everyday school bus in North America today: the adoption of a standard paint colour for all school buses, which is yellow. So it's obviously it's a highly visible, you easily identify this is a school bus. Whereas in the UK, the only means of identifying whether a bus is on a school contract is this sign. That's your that basically tells everyone this is a school bus. But apart from that, most school buses are indistinguishable from just regular buses that everyone else uses. There are some exceptions to this. Councils will have specialised buses for children with additional needs. And in the case of primary schools, when I was in primary school, there was basically a minibus that went around all the farms and picks up the kids from the surrounding farms and brought them into the village to go to school. Whereas everyone in the village just walked. But again, that was a private hire vehicle that wasn't owned by the council. But I have seen the council down on the road from me. They've got quite a few of these mellow mini buses with the disabled, with the wheelchair left at the back, presumably for use by disabled pupils. So you've got these US buses. Interestingly, I think a lot of them basically take a truck chassis and just put one of these bodies on it. It's weird that they use that design rather than just going for something like an Optare Solo, just a regular commuter bus. I've seen some American school buses on the internet that do have more of a city bus kind of shape to them, with the door at the front and the engine in the middle or the back. Conversely, there are a few buses in the UK, obvious one being the Iveco Daily with the mellow bodywork, but there's a few there that have truck or van chassis with a separate bus. So it does go both ways, but the American ones are very noticeably usually have the kind of bonnet at the front. But other things you will notice, or that I have learned from social media and from Wikipedia. The US buses, you'll notice they have the flashing red lights and a little flip out stop sign on them as well. You see this in The Simpsons again. And yeah, when a US bus is stopped, and this is quoting again from Wikipedia, when loading and unloading students, school buses have the ability to stop traffic using a system of warning lights and stop arms, a stop sign that is deployed from the bus to stop traffic when the door is opened. So yeah, most US states by the mid-1940s introduced traffic laws requiring motorists to stop for school buses while children were loading or unloading. Basically so the kids don't run out in front of the bus and get hit by a car. Which is probably going to be frustrating for a driver if you're stuck behind one of these and it's stopping at every bus stop and you can't overtake it, whereas your ordinary buses and indeed, you know, British school buses, they work the same as your regular bus. It stops and the cars can just overtake. But obviously America, they're, you know, safety, they're looking out for the kids. So they have this law, you can't overtake school buses. So one thing I haven't discovered from that is how far away from the school do you have to live to qualify for a, you know, school bus pickup. So this is from the UK government website. Children of school age qualify for free school transport if they go to their nearest suitable school and any of the following apply. The school is more than 2 miles away if the child is under 8, or 3 miles away if the child is over 8, and if there's no safe walking route between their home and school, or they have special needs, disability or a mobility problem. So basically if you live more than 2 or 3 miles from your school, you get a school bus, or if you can't walk there, you get a school bus. So again, if you have special needs, you're going to get one of these Melor, one of these kind of buses with the wheelchair lift. Will come and just pick you up from your house. For everyone else, you're going to walk to the bus stop, yeah, catch the bus in the morning. But yeah, basically, if for the vast majority of kids, if you are going to school, and it's usually secondary school, if you're, you know, most villages will have their own primary school, but like the secondary schools are usually in the larger towns. So if you're getting a school bus in the UK, generally you're probably going to secondary school. Anyway, so I'd love to hear from the Americans in the comments. What was your school bus like? Yeah, any stories about taking the bus to school? Did you take the bus all the way from primary school into secondary school? Did you walk to school? Did your mum drop you off? You know, if you were a teenager, because I know a lot of Americans learn to drive quite young, did you drive yourself to school? I did know a couple of people, it looked like something out of the in-betweeners when I was in the last couple of years of secondary school. A couple of kids did drive themselves in. Yes, there's a scene in the in-betweeners. I'm not going to say the word because this is a family YouTube channel, but yeah. So yeah, please, you'll put your school bus stories in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.